They told you fruit trees need acres of land. That you need a backyard, a farm, or at least a sprawling garden to grow your own apples, peaches, or lemons. But what if I told you that you can grow a full producing fruit tree in a 5-gallon bucket on a balcony, patio, or tiny urban space? And what if I told you these trees will give you 20 to 50 pounds of fresh fruit every single year? I'm about to show you 5 dwarf fruit trees that thrive in containers, produce real harvests, and cost less than a month's worth of grocery store fruit. These aren't ornamental plants. These aren't decorations. These are legitimate fruit-producing trees that fit in spaces smaller than a closet. This isn't theoretical. I've been running a patio orchard in 5-gallon buckets for 3 years. I harvest lemons in January, peaches in July, and figs in September. 0 ground space. 0 landscaping. Just buckets, soil, sun, and a system that works. If you've ever been told you can't grow fruit because you don't have land, if you live in an apartment with a balcony, or if you just want fresh organic fruit without paying $6 per pound, this video is your blueprint. I'm walking you through 5 dwarf fruit trees, how to plant them, how to care for them, and exactly what to expect from harvests. Stick around, because tree number 3 produces fruit in the first year, and tree number 5 survives freezing winters and scorching summers without any protection. Welcome to Plant Space Collective, where we grow more for less. Hit subscribe, because we're about to turn your patio into a fruit orchard, starting right now. Part 1. Why dwarf fruit trees work in buckets. Before we get to the 5 trees, you need to understand why this works. Dwarf fruit trees aren't genetically modified. They're not weak or inferior. They're standard fruit trees grafted onto dwarfing rootstocks that limit their size but not their production. A standard apple tree grows 20 to 30 feet tall and needs 400 square feet of space. A dwarf apple tree on M27 or M9 rootstock grows 6 to 8 feet tall and fits in a 5-gallon bucket. Same apples. Same quantity. 10% of the space. Dwarf trees have smaller root systems, which makes them perfect for containers. And because they're smaller, they fruit faster. Standard trees take 5 to 7 years to produce. Dwarf trees produce in 2 to 3 years. Some produce in year 1. The key is choosing the right rootstock, the right variety, and providing proper care. Do that, and you'll have fresh fruit on your patio, balcony, or fire escape for decades. Part 2. The 5 best dwarf fruit trees for buckets. Let's rank them by ease of growing, climate adaptability, and harvest yield. I'm starting with number 5 and working up to the absolute champion. Number 5. Dwarf peach trees. Peaches are summer gold. Sweet, juicy, and impossible to buy fresh unless you grow them yourself. Dwarf peach varieties like Bonanza, Pixie, or El Dorado grow 4 to 6 feet tall and produce full-size peaches in 5-gallon buckets. Peaches need full sun, at least 6 to 8 hours per day. They need chill hours, which means they won't fruit in tropical climates, but they thrive in zones 5 through 9. Plant them in well-draining potting soil mixed with compost. Water deeply once or twice a week. Fertilize in early spring with a balanced organic fertilizer. Peach trees are self-pollinating, so you only need 1 tree to get fruit. They bloom early, which makes them vulnerable to late frosts. If you're in a cold zone, move the bucket into a garage or cover it with frost cloth during surprise freezes. Expect 20 to 30 peaches per tree starting in year 2 or 3. Thin the fruit when they're marble-sized to avoid branch breakage and improve size. Harvest when the fruit gives slightly to pressure and smells sweet. Peaches are prone to leaf curl and borers, so monitor closely and treat with organic sprays if needed. But the payoff is worth it. Fresh peaches in July, right off your patio. Number 4. Dwarf fig trees. Figs are the ultimate low-maintenance container fruit. Varieties like Petite Negra, Little Miss Figgy, or Chicago Hardy grow 3 to 5 feet tall in buckets and produce 2 crops per year in warm climates. Figs tolerate partial shade but produce better in full sun. They handle heat, drought, and poor soil better than almost any fruit tree. Plant them in a mix of potting soil and sand for drainage. Water when the top 2 inches of soil dry out. Fertilize monthly during the growing season with compost tea or fish emulsion. Figs are self-pollinating and incredibly reliable. In warm climates, they produce a small early crop in June and a heavy main crop in August and September. In cold climates, they produce one fall crop. The best part? Figs fruit on new wood, so even if the tree dies back in winter, it'll regrow and fruit the same year. Chicago Hardy survives Zone 5 winters in the ground, and in a bucket, you can move it indoors or into a garage during hard freezes. Expect 20 to 40 figs per tree per season. Harvest when the fruit softens and the neck droops. Fresh figs don't store well, so eat them immediately, dry them, or make preserves. Figs have almost no pests. Birds are the only threat. Net the tree or pick fruit daily during peak season. Number 3. Dwarf lemon trees. Lemons are the crown jewel of container orchards. Meyer lemons, improved Meyer, or Eureka lemons grow 4 to 6 feet tall and produce year-round in the right conditions. Lemons are tropical to subtropical, thriving in zones 9 through 11. But here's the secret. You can grow lemons anywhere if you bring the bucket indoors during winter. I'm in zone 7. My Meyer lemon lives on my patio from April through October and moves into a sunny window from November through March. It produces 30 to 50 lemons per year. Lemons need full sun, 8 hours minimum. They're heavy feeders, so fertilize every month with citrus-specific fertilizer. Water when the top inch of soil is dry. Don't let them sit in waterlogged soil or the roots will rot. Meyer lemons are self-pollinating, but indoors, you'll need to hand-pollinate with a small brush. Just brush the inside of each flower to transfer pollen. Outdoors, bees handle it. Lemons flower and fruit simultaneously, so you'll see blossoms and ripe fruit on the same tree. It's surreal and beautiful. Harvest when the fruit is fully yellow and gives slightly to pressure. The yield is insane. One tree produces enough lemons for a year of cooking, lemonade, and preserving. And the fragrance when it blooms? Worth the price of the tree alone. Number 2. Dwarf apple trees. Apples are the workhorse of container orchards. Varieties like Honeycrisp on M27 rootstock, Gala on M9, or Fuji Dwarf grow 5 to 7 feet tall and produce 20 to 40 apples per year in 5-gallon buckets. Apples need full sun and cold winters. They require chill hours to set fruit, so they won't work in tropical climates, but they thrive in zones 3 through 8. Plant in rich, well-draining potting mix. Water regularly, especially during fruit development. Fertilize in early spring and midsummer. Most apples need cross-pollination, meaning you need 2 different varieties to get fruit. But some varieties like Honeycrisp and Fuji are partially self-fertile, so they'll produce smaller crops alone. For maximum yield, plant 2 dwarf apple trees in spring and ripen and let them pollinate each other, depending on variety. Thin the fruit to 1 apple per cluster when they're marble-sized. This prevents branch breakage and produces larger, sweeter apples. Harvest when the apple separates easily from the branch with a gentle twist. Store in a cool, dark place. Some varieties store for months. Apples are prone to codling moth, aphids, and powdery mildew. Use organic sprays and monitor weekly during the growing season. Number 1. Dwarf cherry trees. Cherries are the king of container fruit trees. Varieties like Stella, Compact Stella, or Romeo grow 5 to 7 feet tall, produce 15 to 30 pounds of cherries per year, and are self-pollinating. Cherries need full sun and cold winters for dormancy, thriving in zones 4 through 8. They're one of the first trees to bloom in spring, and the blossoms alone are worth growing the tree. Plant in well-draining soil with compost. Water deeply once or twice a week. Fertilize in early spring. Stella cherries are sweet cherries that ripen in early summer. Romeo cherries are tart and perfect for pies. Both are self-pollinating, so 1 tree is enough. Cherries ripen fast. One day they're hard and green, 3 days later they're deep red and ready. Harvest by cutting the stem, not pulling the fruit, to avoid damaging the tree. Birds are the enemy. They'll strip a tree in hours. Net your cherry tree as soon as the fruit starts to color, or you'll lose the entire crop. Expect your first cherries in year 2 or 3. By year 4, you'll harvest buckets of fruit. Fresh cherries cost $8 to $12 per pound at the store. Your tree will produce $100 to $200 worth of cherries every year, year after year, for decades. Part 3. How to plant and care for bucket fruit trees. Let's walk through the process step by step. Step 1. Choose the right bucket. Use a 5-gallon bucket with drainage holes. Drill 5 to 8 half-inch holes in the bottom if the bucket doesn't have them. Food-grade buckets work, but any sturdy bucket works. Avoid black buckets in hot climates because they overheat roots. Step 2. Prepare the soil. Use a high-quality potting mix, not garden soil. Garden soil compacts in containers and suffocates roots. Mix 60% potting soil, 30% compost, and 10% perlite or sand for drainage. Fill the bucket 3/4 full. Step 3. Plant the tree. Remove the tree from its nursery pot and loosen the roots gently. Place it in the bucket so the graft union, the bulge near the base of the trunk, sits 2 inches above the soil line. Fill around the roots with soil, firm it down, and water deeply until water drains from the bottom. Step 4. Position and water. Place the bucket in full sun, at least 6 hours per day. Water deeply twice a week during the growing season, once a week in winter. The soil should stay moist but not soggy. Stick your finger 2 inches into the soil. If it's dry, water. If it's damp, wait. Step 5. Fertilize. Feed your trees monthly during the growing season, March through September. Use a balanced organic fertilizer, compost tea, or fish emulsion. In winter, stop fertilizing. The tree is dormant and doesn't need nutrients. Step 6. Prune. Prune in late winter before the tree leaves out. Remove dead, crossing, or inward-growing branches. Keep the center open for airflow. Dwarf trees don't need heavy pruning. Just maintain shape and remove damaged wood. Step 7. Protect in winter. In cold climates, move buckets against a south-facing wall, wrap them in burlap, or move them into an unheated garage. Roots are more vulnerable in containers than in the ground. Mulch the top of the soil with straw to insulate roots. Part 4. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. Let's save you from the failures that kill container orchards. Mistake 1. Overwatering. Container trees drown faster than they dry out. Water only when the soil is dry 2 inches down. Use buckets with drainage holes. Never let the bucket sit in standing water. Mistake 2. Underfeeding. Container soil depletes fast. Trees need monthly feeding during the growing season. Organic fertilizers are best because they won't burn roots. Mistake 3. Ignoring drainage. No drainage holes equals dead roots. Drill holes. Use quality soil. Avoid compacted mixes. Mistake 4. Planting non-dwarf varieties. Standard fruit trees won't survive in buckets. Their roots need too much space. Always buy dwarf or semi-dwarf varieties grafted on dwarfing rootstocks. Mistake 5. Skipping pollination. Some fruit trees need cross-pollination. Read the label before buying. If it says self-pollinating, you're good. If it says needs pollinator, buy 2 varieties. Mistake 6. Not protecting from pests. Birds, aphids, and moths love fruit trees. Monitor weekly. Use organic sprays. Net trees during fruiting. Part 5. The cost breakdown. Let's talk money. Startup costs. Dwarf fruit tree, $25 to $50. 5-gallon bucket, $3 to $5. Potting soil and compost, $15. Fertilizer, $10. Total, $55 to $80 per tree. Annual costs. Fertilizer, $10. Water, negligible. Replacement soil every 3 years, $15. Total, $10 to $15 per year. Each tree produces 20 to 50 pounds of fruit per year, depending on variety. Organic apples cost $4 per pound. Organic cherries cost $10 per pound. Organic lemons cost $3 per pound. One dwarf cherry tree producing 25 pounds of cherries saves you $250 per year. That tree pays for itself in the first harvest and produces for 20+ years. 5 trees and buckets on a patio produce $500 to $1,000 worth of fruit annually, for a $300 startup cost. There it is. 5 dwarf fruit trees that thrive in 5-gallon buckets and turn any patio, balcony, or tiny space into a productive orchard. You don't need land. You don't need a yard. You just need sun, buckets, soil, and the right trees. Start with one tree. Meyer Lemon if you want year-round production. Stella Cherry if you want heavy yields. Dwarf Fig if you want zero maintenance. Plant it this spring. Water it. Feed it. Watch it grow. By next year, you'll be harvesting fresh fruit grown 3 feet from your door. Which tree are you starting with? Lemon? Cherry? Fig? Let me know in the comments. If you want more systems for growing food in small spaces, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching Plant Space Collective. Your tiny patio orchard starts now.